We all know that smoking is not good for our health. And we also know that a pregnant woman should not be smoking because that's not good for her baby's health. Now, we have all heard that smoking can increase the risk of a premature baby and low birth weight. And now they've found that if you had a mother that smoked when you were in utero, it increases the risk of adolescent obesity.
Yeah, it's really surprising. And the study that was done out of Canada that was published in Archives of General Psychiatry was on 378 adolescents, of which 180 were exposed to smoking and 198 weren't. And what they found is that those that were exposed to smoking actually in teenage years had a significantly higher weight. So it's kind of surprising, but there it is. Now, we've known for a long time that the problem of smoking on the baby, that if a mother smokes, that the problem with the baby is a big deal, because not only do you have problems with low birth weight, but also the risk for developing sudden infant death syndrome goes up, the fetal heart rate is high, miscarriages. And now we find this thing about adolescent obesity, which is kind of a surprise. We know the problems that we get into as we're older if we smoke too much, because there's so much publicity about lung disease and cancer and heart disease, asthma and allergies of different kinds. And we also know that these kids who had mothers that were smoking had a smaller part of their brain, a smaller part called the amygdala, which is what processes emotions and what stores memories. And it seems to correlate with fat intake. So it may be that a smaller amygdala is somehow caused by a mother who smoked that leads to the child wanting to eat more fats
when they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And we just talked recently about another study that showed that adolescents that were obese could have brain dysfunction.
Right. So, and there's also some information about what a mother eats. You know, if a mother eats a lot of fat during the time that she's pregnant, and then she breastfeeds and she continues to eat a diet that's high in fat, then the chances is that the offspring is going to be fat. These were studies that were done in rats, but there's a lot of similarity between what happens in a rat pregnancy and a human pregnancy from that point of view.
So in other words, it's okay if a mom eats a lot of fat while she's pregnant, but not after she has the baby if she's going to breastfeed.
Exactly. So
because then that can lead to obesity in the child later on.
Exactly. All these things are leading to obesity, and we wonder why we have this epidemic of chronic diseases that are caused by being overweight.
When I was reading that particular study, though, I kind of got the feeling that they were talking like this high-fat diet wasn't really a healthy thing.
Right.
And yet there are healthy fats. And
well, the mother's milk has 60% fat in it, and if the mother has any kind of decent diet and she's taking in essential fatty acids, that's a really healthy diet. I mean, Mother Nature knows we need a little bit more fat, but if we eat too much in the way of fat, and particularly, I guess, if they're not healthy fats, that may be what leads to this problem with insulin resistance and leptin resistance.
And if the breast milk is 60% fat and the baby's brain is 60% fat,
you need fat.
You know that good, healthy fats are important for that baby's brain development.
Exactly. That's why mothers during their pregnancy should be consuming essential fatty acids. I recommend that they consume either a high-quality fish oil with a good healthy omega-6 like evening primrose oil, or they use something like flaxseed oil. That can either be a couple of tablespoons a day of the oil or about 6 tablespoons of the ground flax.
And to cook with coconut oil.
Yeah, good. Those are healthy fats. So when we look at the baby's health, there are a lot of things that can go wrong if the mother doesn't prepare right. And smoking is just a no-brainer. Certainly shouldn't be smoking, because all kinds of things go wrong that even can lead to adolescent obesity.